I'm sure that you find that. I loved how you mentioned, and this was a really important point, is boundaries. You can have boundaries with those same family friends that surround you that allow you to still take those steps forward. So how do you take those steps? How do you take your clients through the steps to allow them to move forward without losing those people in their lives? Because family is family. They are well-intentioned. They don't always understand. I know from my family, they don't understand what I do, but my raving fan friends, they're just like, okay, I don't understand what you do, but you go. And they're just great cheerleaders. And I love that. And it's important who you surround yourself with, right? So how do you help your clients through that?
So it's interesting because every single person is at a different point in their life with different experiences, and we have to honor those experiences. When it comes to my own clients, there are times when I may have my initial interaction with a client, but I may not work with them for until a year later.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay, because there's a sense of readiness that they have to be willing to experience, that if they're not ready, then this can actually cause more damage than actually help them, right? And so I absolutely honor when anybody says, you know what, I don't think I'm ready for this yet. And that is 100% fine for me. But they usually do come back, whether it's 6 months later, a year later, even 2 years later.
Yes.
And they tell me, you know what, I'm ready now.
Yes. And it's because they don't understand the language coming out of our mouths, and they're just not ready. I know I wasn't ready at one point. That's when I was in my stuck moment, and I wanted to I had every desire. I was like, no, I don't want to be here anymore. But I wasn't ready to hear what I had to hear in order to get unstuck. So I actually I sabotaged myself from getting unstuck because I didn't want to face it on. And then when I made the decision, you know what, I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off and face it head on, it made it a lot easier. And I find that with my clients as well, is that you need to be ready. You need to be able to hear it. It's almost like watching a movie. Have you ever watched a movie or read a book and you did it a second time and went, I never noticed that before, or I never read that before, right? And
exactly.
So it's because you're in a different place. So today I'm ready to hear it. Yesterday it might not have been. Tomorrow I'll be in a different place too in my growth cycle, and I'll see something else new. So, and I'm sure through your work, you see this as well.
Absolutely. And I saw for myself too. I mean, when I worked with my very first life coach, it was January of 2016. She told me things that completely changed my life within that 20-minute session. After that session, my salary went up by $1,000 a month. 6 weeks later, I was in a better position. I was at a new company. I was happy again. My health was better. But given all that, I was not ready for the second session until 8 months later.
Yeah.
Because I had to experience everything that she had told me. I had to see the growth that had taken place within that short period of time. I then had to experience my new reality to then realize, you know what, there are still opportunities for growth here. And now I'm ready to meet with this person again.
Yeah. And that's not unusual. I see that as well, is that you need to take it in bites. You know, we don't eat a pizza in one bite. We cut it into slices and then we take bites from there. So the same thing with this process. And I know that, you know, spirituality plays a role in finding success because there's a connection within ourselves. So how does spirituality play a role that you see in finding success?
Well, I tell people that when you're looking for success, sometimes we think that there's something that we have to grasp externally. And sure, you know, there's degrees that we can earn, there's certifications we can earn, there's experiences we can earn, and we should earn those that call to us, right? But there will come to a certain point where there are certain things that we already have inside. And by looking within, we're able to find those treasures. One of my favorite stories is the Golden Buddha, which is in the book Chicken Soup for the Soul by Jack Canfield.
Yeah,
and
he's my coach. Jack Canfield's my coach.
Well, I love it. And so the story, you have this statue, this Buddha statue made out of clay, and it's being moved to a new monastery. And as it's being moved, it starts to rain. And so the water droplets start to hit onto the clay Buddha. And then one of the head monks notices that there's these specks of gold on the statue. And he thinks, wow, this is interesting. As he gets closer, he starts to move his finger on the clay. And then he gets a chisel and starts chiseling on the clay. And then he realizes that it was never a clay Buddha. It was made out of gold entirely. And so I love that story because it is used as a metaphor to explain that we have all of this clay around us, right? This clay made up of lies, opinions of other people, like you said earlier, blocks, self-limiting beliefs. And really define success is to chisel away the clay of our own outer covering and find what's already been there, right? These are the treasures that have already been there. And so that's what I mean by looking within and using spirituality to attain success.
Yeah, and be the genuine human you're meant to be, because we come already perfect. We just have to tap into that through our experiences and learn the lessons we're supposed to learn and serve others as we are. Fun fact before we go to break, I went to see that Buddha. I walked around that Buddha and it is magnificent. And I know the whole process of it getting up to the top of that mountain. So it's pretty amazing, but great story, great metaphor. And it's a reality that we all face. You're listening to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Lorianne Casdia. If you would like to be a guest or lift up your business, product, or non-for-profit, or if you have a question or comment, please feel free to email us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. That's healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. You know, I always answer them personally, and I really love chatting with you all and getting your feedback and having you on the show. And you know, I'm a business coach and strategist, empowering, educating, inspiring, and igniting people to take action with jet propulsion. So if you are inclined to come and work with me so that you can take action and not be stuck anymore, please feel free to reach out to me at ldcstrategies.com, LorianneCasdia.com, or give us a call at 516-983-3591. So welcome back. Today we are speaking to Xavier Cano. He is a magnificent coach, really working with people and their mindset. You know how I feel about mindset, really, really important. I think it's the root and the foundation for everything you will do. And once you start shifting your mindset, it is a yummy feeling indeed. And you're going to want to continue to do it because you're going to see some beautiful results pretty rapidly if you really focus on yourself and work on it. You know, it's interesting. Our society doesn't have us, and welcome back, Javier. Our society doesn't really teach us how to go inward. They try to have us go external with all the wants and desires that we want outside of ourselves, instead of really looking into all the gold, as you put it, that we already have underneath the clay, that is just perfection as we came into this world. And so you came up with a motto, Unblock Your Power. How did you come up with that? I love that phrase. I think it's a great motto. I think it's a great mantra that everybody should be saying over and over again, because once you do that, you're unstoppable. So how'd you come up with that?
It was my experience working with my own life coach, and even the story of the Golden Buddha, where I realized that we really all just have this power inside of us. We really do. And for those who may not understand that or see that, that just means that you may just not be aware that it does exist within you, but it's these blocks that we have. And again, these blocks defined by self-limiting beliefs, opinions of other people, things that aren't true, these negative emotions, these are all blocks. But once you start removing that, you start to realize that, wow, like I have these strengths that I never realized I had.
I am cool.
I am cool. I have all these talents. I have I have a friend who recently, to reduce stress, to feel like, you know, he's moving ahead in life. He started to cook, and he has just become this amazing cook, and he can cook anything. And when you taste this food, I mean, you just feel the love, you feel the energy. And he's a doctor, and he chose to cook on the side as a hobby to essentially express something that he was keeping inside for a really long time. Yeah. But that is what it means to find your power, to find these things that you never thought that you could actually do.
Or it's find things that bring you joy and allow you to bring joy to other people. So someone who cooks like that, I know watching other people eat your food is so fulfilling. That's why that family time together and sharing that moment is so inspiring and beautiful, and bringing that out is so, so very important. So that power, it is powerful. I like the way that you say that I call it my superpower. I call it people's superpower. It's like, I can see the superpower beyond everything else. And the limiting beliefs, to me, take it as a challenge, because we have actually a requirement and a responsibility to take the gifts that we have. Like, I'm a singer. We have a responsibility to share those gifts. And my mom told me that years ago, when I stopped singing for a while because of something that happened to me, I took my voice away. I took my own voice away. I did it. Nobody else did it. I did it. It may have been as a result of an action of someone else, but I made the choice to stop singing. And she said, you know what, Lorianne, you're doing a disservice to the world, because you have an obligation and responsibility, because you were given these gifts, to share them with other people. Shame on you for not doing that. And I was like, oh, no, stop. And it really took me back. And I started thinking about that. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And from that moment forward, when I gave myself my voice back, I always teach other people, don't allow anybody to take your dream away and take your voice away. And taking your dream away takes your voice away, because that's your creativity. And that's where you just blow up and become genuinely yourself. And that's my happy place. Singing is my happy place. So, if I'm having a bad day, I just sing and it changes it right away. The vibrations change and I shift into that joyous moment. And it doesn't matter what the song's about. It's just something about singing that makes me happy. And apparently other people like listening to it. So it's fun. So I'm sure that you have people who are not sharing their gifts. And don't you think it's a disservice for them not to do that?
And I absolutely do. One of the things I've realized is that we are all connected, and we all go through our own growth and learnings by studying on our own, doing the introspection, but also through the interactions that we have with other people. I can tell you that even as of this morning, I was so motivated by hearing somebody sing on YouTube. And I played the song over and over for about 10 minutes, because the energy that they were emitting through their voice was just so powerful that I thought, you know what, I need this. I need this today. And so this person will never know who I am, but the fact that they expressed that piece of who they are helped to change my life today. And so that's why I tell people that when you start to hide aspects of who you are because of fear, because of maybe something else somebody said, you're not only doing a disservice to you, you're doing a disservice to everybody else, because you have the ability to inspire other people by being exactly who you are.
Yeah. And everybody is so amazing. And I don't say that gratuitously. I really mean that, is that when you start talking one-on-one with every individual, I'm like, oh my gosh, this person is so powerful. This person has this person has that. And it's only up to you, and only you can unblock the blocks, and only you can take those steps and take those actions that allow you to be that thriving individual that makes a difference. Don't you think that?
Absolutely. And like I said, for people who find themselves in a place where they believe that, well, I don't know what it is that I have to offer, that's perfect, because that gives you an opportunity now to start searching within. And I've been doing coaching for almost 20 years now, and I can tell you, I have never met anybody who didn't have some type of light to offer somebody else.
Oh, I like the way you said that. Somebody has light to offer someone else. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. I agree. So I want to just shift for a second and talk about You Are Magical. You wrote a book, right? What was your first book about? The name of the book? How can we get it?
So the interesting thing, and this is just part of my story, that I started coaching first as a career coach. But what I loved was that I used the resume as a mechanism to show other people much more than they realized what they were or who they were. Because when I started doing resume writing, I would work with people and I would ask them questions. And after so many responses, I would start crafting the resume, putting their strengths, putting their experiences, putting how they made a difference. And when they would see this piece of paper, the one thing that I always noticed is that they would say the following words: wow, that's me. wow, that's me. And it made me realize that most of us, we don't know who we are, because we get so used to the everyday, minutia, that we lose track of who we become, how much we've